privilege it is to come to you, come your way, and to engage you, and of course for you to engage with us on this extremely important subject of discovering our common humanity, the power of our common humanity, and the blessing we are all endowed with in our common humanity to be game changers, difference makers, change makers to our world, and to appreciate the fact that we are the only species of creation who have been endowed by our Creator with the capabilities to determine outcomes and to make them happen. We can envisage, we can determine, we can dream, we can literally see in the mind's eye specific goals, specific targets, specific visionary goals, and determine this is what we want to do to our society, to our nation, to our continent, to our world, and indeed, we can make it happen. We're the only species blessed with this awesome endowment in the form of the capability to execute this, to dream, to see, and to make it happen. And so in these conversations, we're excited. I can tell you we're so excited when we can come your way, and you can also join in for us to engage in this important subject matter. Even more particularly to our target group, who are normally our focus. Of course, everybody's invited to the conversation, but particularly to our young people, particularly between 15 right up through to 18 and 25 and 35 and 45, what we call our millennials, the younger millennials, the older millennials, and our Gen Zs, just simple terminologies describing demographics, age demographics, as you already know. This is our particular interest. This target group is our particular interest because we believe that this particular demographic group is the place with the biggest potential to make transformational change happen. In other words, if you really want to see change happen, of course, change can happen in any age group really, with anybody, but particularly with this group, transformational change can happen and happen a lot easier, quicker. Not that it's any easier or cheaper really, but the potential to make change happen, transformational change happen, would happen within this demographic. And so again, it's a pleasure, it's an honor, and I want to thank you so much as we delve into our subject matter on the mindset. We looked at what mindset is, the concept of mindset, and we're continuing. We've already done two parts of mindset. I want to read the quote, which is what we always begin the conversations with, Mahatma Gandhi's quote: "Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits, and your habits become your values, and your values your destiny." And so therefore, everything about our beliefs, our thoughts, our words, our actions, our habits, our values, about 6 different variables: our beliefs, our thoughts, our words, our actions, our values, our habits, and of course, all of it pointing to our destiny. So what it simply means is that this string, okay, this string of important variables in our lives which live with us, because our beliefs live with us, our values live with us, our habits live with us, our words live with us, our actions live with us. In fact, we make our beliefs, we form our beliefs, we make our words, we make our actions. In other words, we are responsible for our words, we are responsible for our actions, we are responsible for our beliefs, we are responsible for our values, we are responsible for our habits, we are responsible for all of the character we form. We are responsible. Nobody really forces us into the belief systems we have and have acquired, and our actions and the words and all of these important variables. Nobody forces us into them. We form them and they become part of us, and then we use them, and then they determine our destiny, what we become. What we become. So, for example, Ghana or Nigeria or South Africa or Kenya or Namibia or Zambia or Ethiopia or Libya or Senegal. Now, any of these countries, or Europe, any of the countries of Europe or the Americas, any nation and its people, Singapore, Malaysia, Colombia, who we become and who we are is not magical. It's not magic. It's not mysterious. It should not be rocket science. The template that gets us there and makes us who we each are, because remember, who you are, who I am, who we all are together is what makes Ghana what it is what makes Nigeria what it is what makes South Africa what it is. So if South Africa is a prospering nation, if Malaysia is a prospering nation, if Colombia is a transforming nation, transformed and still transforming nation, if Singapore is a transformed nation, enviable nation of such great exemplary leadership and beauty and power, if we look at Singapore and we like what they are, we like what they have become, it is not magic. It didn't happen magical, nothing mysterious, nothing superstitious, nothing really supernatural per se about it, even though it, has its place and its role. The critical thing, the fundamental thing is the people, particularly the young people at the individual level, understood this chain and how this chain of belief, thought, words, action, habits, values, how this chain will eventually produce your destiny. Produce your destiny. So who you are is a result of the beliefs, the values, all of these variables. Now, why is it important to keep emphasizing these variables? It is important to keep emphasizing because this together, really at the end of the day, is what forms your mindset. So that your mindset is a result of your belief, my words, my thoughts, my actions, and then all of that together is what forms my mindset. So let me say this again in other words. In other words, belief is critical. Belief is critical. Now, the big thing about belief that influences belief and eventually thoughts, actions, words, and then values and destiny is the experiences we go through. You see, the things we encounter, the people we hang out with, the people in our lives, and what they say to us, what they speak to us, the influence of their words, the impact of their words, the power of their words, their ideas, their thoughts, and how we buy into their ideas, how we buy into their thoughts, how we buy into what they say. So you may not think it's a big deal, but it is a big deal. big deal who you are associated with, because like it or not, consciously or unconsciously, what they say, even what they whisper to you, will impact your belief, your thoughts, and how you act and how you behave and how you relate to the rest of the world. So the people you hang out with, which really is at the base of your experiences, which then will impact the formation of mindset, is so crucial, so crucial, so crucial, so crucial, so crucial. That's a point we can never miss. That's a point we can never miss. But here's what's even more crucial. What's even more crucial is that you and I, if you remember the last 6 series, 6 parts we've dealt with the power of you. The power of you simply means that all of these conversations about beliefs and thoughts and all of these variables that come together to form your mindset, you and I have power over. We have the power to choose. That means you have the power to choose your friends, to choose who you hang with, to choose who's around you. You have the power to choose where you want to be and where you don't want to be. You have the power to choose the group you want to hang with, the group you want to be in, the group you don't want to be in. Why is it important to consider this? It's extremely important to consider this because all of these, which has to do with your experience, something to do with your experience, because the beginning of it all is really your experience, the things you're experiencing, the people, the images, and everything you are experiencing on a day-to-day basis. They all come together to form your mindset, which is critical. Remember, you are your mindset, and your mindset is you. We said that in the last 2 conversations we had about the power of mindset, the concept of mindset, and the nature of mindset. We said that your mindset is you, and you are your mindset. If you break it down and drill it down, what it means is if you and I are a result, if the mindset is a result of the experiences, who we're hanging with, where we are, and all of that, and we do have the power to choose, then it means you have the power to allow or disallow what forms your mindset. It means even your mindset and how your mindset turns out to be is in your hands. That's amazing. That's amazing. That is profoundly amazing. Profoundly amazing. And it's important we get this base, this foundation. It's important we get this as fundamental for these conversations and for us, especially young people. It's important that we get this, because if we do get this, then you realize that you will not be looking for someone to blame for who you are, for the way you think. You will not be looking for someone to blame for your own actions, your own words, for your own thought systems, how you think, how you behave, because all of these together, they form, they engage, they have everything to do with your mindset, which is what is you, which is what has made you, which is the result of who you are. And so all of that behavior and everything about the way you relate to the world around you, which is seated on your mindset, is all in your hands. In other words, the power to have navigated differently and to have gone a different way so you end up with a different mindset was in your hands to begin with. Now, it may not sound very convincing for those of you who believe that somebody is responsible for who you are, and for those of us who've bought into the fact that your government is really responsible for you, for the outcome of your life, totally and totally. This may be a difficult conversation to have, but I can guarantee you that if you take your time, and if we take our time and drill down and break it down, break this understanding down, especially the concept of mindset and the fact that mindset is equal to you and how mindset forms and the fact that it forms via experiences, and all of your experiences, you do have power. You do have power to determine most of course, life happens and there are things you cannot control. That's understandable. But you'll be amazed at the many more things we can control, many more things we can influence, many more things we can determine which way they go. And so therefore, we would determine the quality of mindset that we end up with. Now, this was so important for us to get into as we continue our conversation. So let's advance, let's go forward, let's progress in the conversation a bit more and talk about the brain. Now, the brain matter. Now, we are talking now about one of the organs of our bodies, the most important organ. Well, there's still the conversation and the jury's out there concerning which is the most important between the heart, the human heart, and the human brain, which of the two is the most important. I'm going to leave that conversation for another day, but for now, I want us to work with this context that your brain is your most critical organ in your body. Now, we kind of want to establish very simply how the brain connects with mindset. Remember, mindset is not brain. Mindset is also a function of the brain. But then the function of the brain can also be influenced by experiences. There are things you and I go through which can sit on the brain and can be impacted on the brain and can be fitted into the chemistry of the brain, the chemical reaction of the brain. We're not going to get into too much of that technicality, but what we want to establish and the object of this conversation today in particular is to establish that your experiences and what you allow and how you run your life is so critical because it will even impact your brain, this important organ, without which none of us will exist, will be here. I mean, it's said in medical terminology, when a person is pronounced brain dead, it means you're dead. You're dead. I mean, brain dead means you're dead. Heart dead, I'm sure. I don't know. I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not going to stray into those areas. But I'm sure if we spoke with a medical doctor who is an authority on the subject of life and death, and when a person is really alive and can be brought back again, I am sure they would say that the heart can normally be resuscitated, back to life some way, I'm sure, when the heart is dead. But when the brain is dead, you're dead. So that therefore makes the point that the brain must be the final stop of life, even biologically. Now, the brain therefore is critical and crucial. Now, how is the brain impacted by experiences, and therefore why it is important for us to control as much as possible, control, because it's in your hands. You can decide not to hang out with weed smokers. You can decide not to hang out with cocaine drug pushers. You can decide not to hang out with a bad crowd. You can. That power is in your hands. You can. So you don't get some toxic stuff into your brain matter, your brain organ, to therefore impact your mindset and therefore sketch you into another, some caricature you can't even deal with. We need to understand that and appreciate that. So our brains continue to develop and change even as adults. Old dogs really can learn new tricks. The brain is actually quite like plastic and can be reshaped over time, forming new neural pathways. This is known as neuroplasticity. I'll take that again. The brain is actually like plastic and can be reshaped over time. In other words, as you stretch plastic or rubber, the brain can also do that, literally speaking, forming new pathways, neural pathways. This is known as neuroplasticity. These neural pathways are developed by doing and thinking particular things. The things that we do or say more often become hardwired into our brains as habits. Now, why is this so important? I love this. I don't know about you, but I love this. What it means is the people you hang out with, your crowd, and the images you allow yourself to view and allow yourself to hear, and all of that, all of these, life generally also finds a way to wire habits into your brains. In other words, actions, thoughts and actions, they are wired into your brain, and then they become part of you. So it's not just the experiences you go through that forms this mindset for you, as it were, but then the brain matter itself is also impacted by the things you say and the things you do and your thinking. Let me take that again. These neural pathways are developed by doing or thinking particular things. Doing and thinking particular things. The things that we do or say more often become hardwired into our brains as habits. Now, I don't know about you, but if you are used to, and it's happened to me, I'm sure it's happened to all of you, out there, where let's say you go into your house and then you take a particular door into the house. Now, you take this particular door so much so that almost automatically when you get into the house, without thinking, it's called reflex. Your body literally walks towards that door because that's what you become used to. You see, you've done it over time. You've done it so many times. It's wired into your brain. It's wired into your thinking. Remember, the neural pathways are developed by doing and thinking constantly. So you do that door, walk that door, you think that door constantly to the extent that your whole system is too familiar with that. And then you lock that door and decide to use another pathway or another door into the house. Let's say through the back of the house. Now, I would tell you, and this is not rocket science now, that the few times you come into the house, even though you lock that front door yourself, you will automatically walk towards that door you yourself have locked and shut and decided not to use. You will walk towards that door and, as it were, go sometimes open it, and then it hits you. Oh, I locked this door. I closed this door. Now, you will do that probably a few times before you get used to the fact that what your brain has been used to has required the need to retrain and to rewire to the new door through the back of the house, which you now use. And it happens with almost everything, literally everything. Once we live and walk and do things and think things a certain way, it is wired into your brain, and your brain forms that neural pathway. Now, several neural pathways we have formed because through the habits of doing them, the habits of using foul language, the habits of disrespecting people, the habits of disrespecting women because they are feminine, the habits of just not being kind, the habits of doing some things, whether good or bad, the brain is wired. And so once the brain gets wired, then you can say it has become a mindset. It has become a mindset. So what do we do? Well, we're going to continue the reading, but what we do is it brings us to the fundamental question again. Can we control everything around us? Therefore, because remember, everything that gets into our thought systems, our thinking, everything that becomes part of us, our whole experiences, are things that came from the external, whether friends, family, relations, the images we saw, and all of that. Everything was wired from the outside. Can we therefore control what is formed on the inside? Yes, we can, if we control what we allow ourselves to engage and to encounter what happens on the outside. That means there's some type of conversation you must consciously remove yourself from. There are some kinds of engagement you must consciously remove yourself from. There are some kinds of unprofitable quarrels and all manner of unproductive attitudes you must consciously cut off. Like you notice, if movie makers, those who record and do movies and so on, they take a scene, or in the process of taking scene, they'll say cut. It means you cut. Cut is cut. Just cut. You should do that. You and I should do that to everything around us, because eventually, if we don't, it's on its way to one place: form a mindset. And remember, the reason it's called mindset is that once it gets set, it is set like concrete, like cement concrete. It's almost impossible to remove and to take back, even though it's possible. But it's a difficult retraining, rewiring, and all of that. Now, we're going to quickly look at two basic mindsets. So we must control. We can control all of these variables that make mindset: the brain organ itself and the experiences we go through. Some things you cannot prevent, but I can guarantee you there's a whole lot you can prevent. Your Creator is giving us the power to prevent. Now, the mindset theory was created by psychologist and researcher Dr. Carol Dweck. Basically, what she proposed in her book, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, was that there are two sorts of outlooks that individuals have: fixed mindset and growth mindset. So this is her position. I'm sure over time there's more and more learning, so there's more and more discovery, more and more understanding about mindset. But for now, and for our context and for our purposes, we're looking at the mindset on these two levels: fixed mindset and growth mindset. Now, the brain therefore responds to mindset. Okay. Research demonstrates the way that positive considerations can expand bliss and prosperity, while negative contemplations decline both. Let me say that again. The brain therefore responds to mindset, now based on Dr. Dweck, Professor Dweck. Now, everything she's saying is that the mindset, and everything we've said is that the mindset deals with everything, the things that happen around us, because it has to do with things we do and think. As we read, research demonstrates the way that positive considerations can expand bliss and prosperity, while negative contemplations decline both. Now, I'll say it again, read it again. And this is so important for us to imbibe and to understand. We'll break it down and then we work with it. Research demonstrates the way that positive considerations can expand bliss, that is joy, happiness, and prosperity, while negative contemplations decline both. In other words, positive bliss, joy, happiness, a state of well-being and happiness, and prosperity all decline when you are negative around people with negative energy, toxic, attitude and approach to life and all, because really, eventually, that's what it boils down to. Remember, we're talking about the brain and the connection of the brain to mindset, because mindset is you and you are mindset. Everything about mindset is you, and mindset is you, and you are mindset. What controls mindset and what determines mindset is what you allow into your space, the space of your thought, the space of your thinking, the space of your engagement. Of course, you cannot live an isolated life, an ascetic life, isolated as though you were living in the mountains alone like an island. You cannot. You will have to live with people and all of that. So how do you then apply this? How do we work with this, young people? Because young people today are a generation who like to stick together, hang together, and so on. Now, the way to do it is to enjoy the fellowship, the company of people and friends and all of that. But negative contemplations declines bliss and prosperity. Now, that is really powerful. What it means is what you allow into your space, what you allow to feed you, what you allow to get into your brain and engage you, what you are open to, the images, the sights and the sounds and all of that, which you control, by the way, and you can control, because you can remove yourself. You can remove yourself. You may not be able to remove that external source of that toxicity and that negativeness. You may not be able to stop it, especially if it comes from people or wherever. Social media, social media, all of the negative stuff on social media. You cannot stop it. You don't even have the power to do anything about it. But guess what? You have power over yourself, and over your brain and what you allow to get into your brain and to engage you. And research is saying that if you don't make the effort, the conscious effort to remove yourself from the environment and the sources of all these negative things that give you negative contemplations, then you are going to impact your sense of joy and happiness and well-being and prosperity. Your poverty, your lack of prosperity, your lack of progress, and all of that is going to be directly linked. In fact, even physical health and well-being is going to be directly linked with what you allowed, the toxicity, the negativeness you allowed into your space and allowed into your, your thinking space and all of that. And so, again, as a people, as a nation, Ghana, Africa, Nigeria, South Africa, Namibia, we will have to determine the kind of societies we want to build, the kind of environments we want to build, the kind of people we want to be by this basic, assertion through science, that we will have to do something about the negativity, the toxicity. You could get into the environments, and these days there are some of us who've been really concerned about our beautiful Ghana, that we have slipped into some abyss of such negativity, such negativity, almost at each other's throat, ready to destroy. But guess what? All of that can be reversed, and we have to reverse it. And young people, you can reverse this, we can reverse this together, and it's important that we do that. Now, so the two basic mindsets. The fixed mindset. In a fixed mindset, people believe their basic abilities, their intelligence, their talents are fixed traits and therefore can't be changed. They have a certain amount, and that's that. So that's the fixed mindset, because we're considering two sets of mindset, or two types of mindsets: the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. A fixed mindset eliminates the possibility of learning or achieving something that seems impossible at first sight. That's what a fixed mindset will do. Because a fixed mindset is fixed. They say, this is it. I was born to be dumb. I was born not to know mathematics. I was born not to know literature, English literature. I was born to be, as for me, I'm always last in class, and that's how destiny has sentenced me. That's a fixed mindset, woeful mindset, unfortunate mindset. But this is the mindset that many people have. Some even attempt to sort of put spirituality spin on it and say, well, this is who we are. This is the family I come from. We are destined to be poor. Now, this kind of mindset leads us to believe that talents are innate. Either you're good at something or you're not. What's more, any unsuccessful attempt to do anything becomes a confirmation of our mindset. So even if we try doing something, and the thing doesn't work, and we don't get success immediately, we conclude that, using the lack of success as confirmation that we cannot succeed at that try. Now, it's important to state, though, that we all have different gifts, different talents. Not everybody can sing. Not everybody is a great operatic soprano, an operatic bass, baritone, tenor. Not everybody can paint. Not everybody can do that. But I believe with all of my heart that, yes, as much as it is true that we're all endowed with different talents and different giftings by our Creator, we're all endowed, it is also true that you can also learn something you may not particularly be endowed with up to a certain level of proficiency. You can still achieve that. But I believe that you can achieve enough of that to wow people. You can get to that, even though you were not originally born with that talent. I believe more and more and more, the world is going to discover the profound power of our humanity and the things we have been blessed with, endowed with, which we can do, but did not even know we could do. Again, that does not dismiss the fact that we're each endowed in special areas, talented in special areas, gifted in special areas. However, on the broad level, there's a lot that we each can all do. And so the fixed mindset does not allow for room to entertain all these thoughts that, look, I can do this, I can grow in this area, I can expand in this area. And a fixed mindset doesn't even allow for the contemplation and the thinking that when it comes to things I'm gifted with, you are gifted with, you are blessed with, you believe you're gifted and blessed with, and especially endowed with, you can still improve on its power and the fact that it's an asset and it can be a greater asset, a bigger asset. Now, so while a fixed mindset does not believe that anything can be changed and that what you are is that, a fixed mindset also eliminates the possibility of learning and achieving something that seems impossible at first sight. So a fixed mindset says, I can never be a president too, I can never be a this and that, any significant person. That's what a fixed mindset does. But a fixed mindset, therefore, is limiting, is debilitating. A fixed mindset is not what we should have. Instead, what should we have? We should have the growth mindset. What is the growth mindset? On the flip side, if you have a growth mindset, you believe that your talents and abilities can be developed over time through effort, work, and persistence. People with this mindset don't necessarily believe that everyone can become Einstein or Mozart per se just because they try. Okay? They do, however, believe that everyone can get smarter or more talented if they work at it. So that's the point I made earlier. Yes, we're all not endowed as a Mozart with the English or, as an Einstein. Even that, there are certain thoughts and positions now being espoused out there that sort of debunks this concept of a genius. So young people, we need to hear this. We need to get that. Where we say, oh, this guy is a genius. Oh, this guy is as though he was born to be intelligent and to be smart. I tend to go with that group, and that's a personal position I have. You can also read and expand your thoughts on it and see what you believe. But I believe generally that, as this point is saying, that we may not necessarily all be Einstein or Mozart just because we tried, but at least we can all develop and build capacity that gets us smarter and more intelligent and more talented if we work at it. So you see, we need to have the growth mindset. Normally, particularly with Africa, and I don't know about the entire Africa, but some of the African nations who've had problems with governance and our economics and prosperity and so on, still cry out for the former colonial master to come back and rule us because they did better with us. Now, that's a fixed mindset that's dangerously wrong and toxic. No, the growth mindset says we can also develop and build capacity of leadership even better than our former colonial masters and rule and do well and do better. So young people, this growth mindset really is where we are going. Now, let me read this quote, which has to do, well, it's by an unknown author, but it's very critical. It says, so much of our life is dictated by our mindsets. So much of our lives, of how we think we shall become. Let me quote it again. So much of our life is dictated by our mindset. So much of our life, so much of it, of how we think we shall become. So a man or a woman or boy or a girl, you are what you think. Thinking is everything. I cannot say this enough. Thinking, mindset. The experiences, the people, what you allow yourself to hear, to see, the images, all of which you can control. If you don't control, they go straight to form your mindset. We're going to continue the next time. We're going to talk about other aspects of mindset. But for now, I want you to understand how crucial our mindset is. I want to thank you for coming around again, for joining in. Remember, please like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. And again, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for coming to be a part of today's conversation. Please make sure you like, share. Have a good day.